beginning of 2022, the market was already starting to see volatility, but it really, you turned the corner on 2022. You started to see inflationary pressures. You had Ukraine, and there were macro trends that were really informing, starting of potentially a recession. And kind of looked at that and took a step back and said, what we have today is a cash-rich company. We have a big vision to execute on these programs. We have to now look at that cash and see if we can extend that further. Because it isn't looking like the markets are going to turn around on a flip. And we want to be capital prudent and ride this out so that when it does turn around, we are ready to go, and then we can raise more capital. Because keep in mind, for a biotech company, there's always going to be need to raise capital in the future because we are burning cash up until a certain point where a drug gets approved and is commercialized. And so it's really critical to be proactive and forward thinking around decisions you make, around programs, around spend, to ensure that the cash is lasting you as long as possible to get to an inflection point. And so I kind of rallied the team, the finance team, and partnered with our R&D team to really go line by program and ask the question, do we need to make this strategic bet now? Can we wait to make it? Are there areas where we can optimize? Are there areas where we should be spending more because we think that it has a higher probability of success of getting there? And that exercise, of course, involved the partnership of the team to really get on board and understand the same thing, I was seeing or finance was seeing, which is, hey, we're in this different market backdrop now. We've got to think a little bit differently. And what we were able to achieve is really an extension of a runway, to my earlier point, that has allowed us to not raise any more capital since the IPO and wait for the right time that it makes sense for the company to raise capital where we have that right inflection point for the programs that investors are giving us value for. But it was an exercise that really, I think, is instilled discipline in our employee base as well around how they think about financials, and the fact that you kind of need to look 6 months, a year ahead when you make decisions on financials and not be reactive to really make a difference in a strategic direction of the company.
CFO Thought Leader is made possible by Planful.